Welcome to Eudaimonia. This one is for anyone who thinks about meaning in life, purpose, values, and love. Basically, the important things in life. Today's guest is R.S. Prasanna, the filmmaker and lovely human behind Sitaare Zameen Par. And he talks about what it took to cast neurodivergent talent and, more importantly, what it gave everyone who made this movie. He also talks about why he said no to a 300 crore film. But this conversation is a lot more than cinema. We talk about values, dreams, the father who shaped everything, and a philosophy of life that might change the way you make decisions. Hi, Prasanna.
Hi.
Thank you so much for giving me the time. Like we were just saying, it doesn't feel like I have met you only twice. It feels like we've known each other for a bit. And because my husband's Tamilian, I think when we do meet, he might force me to serve you Thai chadam. I don't know whether you like it or not.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But anyway, thanks so much for making the time. And let's get started. I think what I want to start with is a little bit of your origin story, what it was like when you were growing up, who were your influences in life, what were the values that you were growing up with?
Earth is placed at a distance which is far enough from the sun that it gets the warmth and it doesn't get burnt. So I think middle class is placed far enough from money so that we don't get too cocky, and at the same time we don't slip into poverty.
Yeah.
So middle class is where I was born, and middle class is who I am. So my dad used to say, God will give us enough to run the house for the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but not much more than that. So you're always on your toes.
Right.
But it also gives you a certain comfort, therefore, to kind of explore a lot of other things, like books for me was the main thing, and movies of Kamal Hassan, Balachandra Saab, Balu Mahendra, Mani Ratnam. These were big influences. And in Hindi, Gulzar Saab was a huge influence because my dad is a big fan of Gulzar Saab.
Oh, wow.
I've seen Koshish, therefore Sanjeev Kumar. So all major influences, and 90s Hollywood. And I think the very first movie I saw in the theatre, and I've said this so many times, in Manjumal movies, it was popularized again, the movie Guna by Kamal Hassan. So that movie was the first movie I saw. And it was a movie about a special person who is, imprisoned, so to speak, in a mental asylum, because that's how it was, And he believes he's incarnation of Lord Shiva. And he has to find Parvati, marry her, and leave this ugly world and go to the pure world, the heaven, so to speak. So, and the whole movie starts with scenes in the brothel, okay? And the whole question that he raises is, you're calling me mad, but what are you guys? So he finds that prostitutes are purer than, so his mother is a prostitute. So he finds that why is it that the prostitutes are looked down upon and not the men who come and ask for a service or suppress us. So imagine a second standard kid watching this movie. Of course, I did not know what that brothel was. So in my mind, it was, I think I might have asked my father also, and he must have said something like, it's just, how ladies are suppressed in the world. And there are a bunch of ladies who are working. Because there is no scene as such or anything which is nudity or anything of that sort. And there's no actual vulgarity or anything. So I think my father may have seen the movie and felt, okay, it is appropriate. And if he asks this question, what is it? I'll say that it's women who are working and the men are suppressing them, which is fairly important for a boy to know at least,
Right.
So I think it was a I'm very impressed with my father's taste, that he made me watch such movies also.
Yeah, at such a young age.
Such a young age. My mother may not have approved. I think she would have been holding her breath.
Yeah.
But that movie completely gave me a new insight into cinema.
Right. You mentioned a couple of other movies as well. There was Kannan and I think Amadeus.
Karnan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Karnan was this movie by our acting god, the thespian Chevalier Shivaji Ganeshan. So Shivaji sir is like our, growing up in Tamil Nadu, he's like the godfather of acting. And then we kind of see the baton being passed to Kamal sir. So I think Shivaji Ganeshan represented, that first, the acting prowess of ability to do 10 different roles and just change characters, get into the skin of any character. So his movie Karnan was also very influential. It was that movie. I think it was directed by a Telugu director who was very famous at the time. Period costume drama, and I think that also left a very lasting impression in me. And Karnan in that movie was like this person who was, a right guy in the wrong side of things.
Right.
So his loyalty to his people was his led to his downfall. And so it is a very beautiful point of view of Mahabharata,
Right.
and very interesting movie again. And the songs were brilliant, the lyrics was brilliant. So I think, yeah, these movies were very influential.
Right.
Yeah.
What about Amadeus? What did you really like about that movie?
Amadeus, again, I think I was very attracted to this, the way it was presented. It is about Mozart, the musician, but it is presented by the guy who's the most jealous of him. Okay, so his point of view.
Right.
So I think there is a subversion in all these three movies, right? There is something that you see, and then the whole movie shows you something which is not.
Right.
So I think that those kind of movies I naturally gravitate towards. Like in Guna, there is this guy who the world calls mad, but there's a flip.
Right.
According to his point of view, we guys are mad and he's pure.
Right.
Right? With Karnan again, there is a guy who, in Mahabharata you see that he's just on the wrong side. But then here, you show this human story of his birth, his becoming an outcast, and then him coming back, and so much of drama in that, right?
Right.
So I think Amadeus too, the fact that the movie is seen from the point of view of Salieri, the guy who's most jealous of Mozart's
Yeah.
talent, I think that was very beautiful.
Right.
And the whole notion of does art, so there's a lovely scene where Mozart says, I am vulgar, my art is not. Because Mozart in that movie is shown as this philandering, womanizer type of a guy. And but his music was,
Yeah.
divine.
Yeah.
Whereas Salieri is shown as this guy who's very devout, who's very by the books, very clean sort of a guy. And he is not getting music so he kind of questions God and says that
Right.
why did you give such divine music to that guy who
Right.
least deserves it?
Right.
Why does it not come to me?
Right.
And then that admiration turns to jealousy, jealousy turns to hatred. He plots that guy's death. And now he's confined to again a mental asylum. And people think he's a loony. And then his narration of just a brilliant movie by Milos Forman.
Wow. So I think all of this, like you're saying, are about moral standpoints. Maybe
Yeah.
a different point of view of looking at a narrative which is probably already well known.
Yeah.
Tell me about the values that your dad gave you. You were telling me that he also asked you to study before you could get to film. So tell me a little bit about that.
My dad is a person who I realize now that for him, dreams are the natural way of living. Achievement is your birthright. There's no. If you talk to my dad, if you tell him that I'm doing this podcast, he will just encourage you so much. He'll give you so much positivity ki you want to go there and do it, right?
Yeah.
And he's that sort of a guy who I think that infectious optimism and enthusiasm in me comes from my dad. Like I am known as this guy who for everything gets excited and pumps people to do stuff, you know.
Right.
And a lot of people have quit their jobs because of me and hated it.
Wow.
So I think
I must applaud you.
I don't think their spouses are very happy. But
They will get happy eventually.
hopefully.
Yeah.
So I think that comes from my dad. I'll tell you an incident when my dad and his brother, my uncle had come down to Chennai for his job and all that. So they were staying my uncle was staying at this 4-star hotel, 5-star hotel, whatever. And they were got a call saying, hey, I'm staying here, why don't you come? Then dinner, blah, blah, blah. I was just fascinated by this hotel, and it is Residency Hotel in Chennai. I still remember. Coming back, I asked my dad, my God, that was amazing. So, what, you get to stay here for free? I said, yeah. So, if I study well, I get a job, I get to stay in the hotel for free. Yeah, man. said, wow, I also want to study like you and my chitapa and go into the hotel and stay for free. I must have been 6th standard or 7th standard. Now, what would an average dad say? Say, yes, that's why you should study, beta, that's why go and study well tomorrow. I would have said the same thing.
Correct.
You know what my dad said? He said, Prasanna, if your dad and your chitapa are staying in a hotel, okay, that should not be your dream. Your dream should be to own 20 such hotels in which such fathers stay. I was like, owner means what? Hotel means what? So now the whole journey back, he's explaining to me entrepreneurship, how hotels run, how they have a owner, and just suddenly, so every conversation, my father would give the big picture.
Wow.
So really in life, I was more comfortable dealing with bosses. So I used to call my dad one day and say, Dad, you spoiled me so much that I'm very at ease with kings. I'm very unease. I'm at unease when I'm with darbaris. My dad taught me how to deal with kings.
Right. Right.
He never taught me how to deal with the darbar.
Right.
Because perhaps he also had trouble doing that. Because he came from a diploma engineering. He did a diploma. Like Karnan, in a way, he has been an outcast in offices because of his diploma. He was a very sharp guy, right? So he has risen by his hard work. But constantly there come a point where all his ideas would be taken by the guy who was an MBA and then he would pitch it. He would do all the groundwork,
Right.
but the boss would go to all the, foreign trips and present it. So that's why my dad used to say, see, Prasanna, it's very important. Hard work, intelligence is important, but to the extent that you can, get the branding also. Because he understood the pain of being the guy without a brand.
Right. Right.
And very strangely, he never had a victimhood complex.
That's so
Usually
important.
people like this have a victimhood complex, right?
Yeah.
But he would therefore venerate some of those bosses who used to fight for him. So he would always bring home people whom he really admired.
Right.
And they would have dinner with us.
Right.
And also, always growing up, Rhitu, I had these uncles, who would be in the house, and they were all role models. Till today, I keep in touch with them.
Right.
Even now, whenever I get any award or whatever, I share it with them.
Right.
They are well-wishers. So, growing up, I had this very positive environment that we may not have money, but we will have integrity, we'll have positive stories and all that.
Yeah.
And so even now, what I aspire for is constantly that do I get the validation of my father?
Yeah.
It's very important. Whatever I do, I have a bedrock of support in my family. Every decision I do, I look back and say, is this okay? Will my wife be proud of this? Will my dad be proud of it? Will my mom be okay with it? Actually, it makes life simple.
Yeah.
There was an occasion when after Shubh Mangal Savdan, I had so many films being offered. There's one film which I almost started. Okay, but then there was some vibe off and something was off with the whole setup, and I just was not very comfortable, right? There's a lot of money being offered. And then I made the hard decision. I just didn't want to do it. Okay. And what is the other option? Sit at home for another 1 year.
Yeah.
But I just talked to my dad, my wife, and just felt so much at home. Yeah. And I felt, no man, I can't do it. It's going against my value systems.
Yeah.
In a very small way, not even a big way, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't be comfortable. Let this movie make 300 crores.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be part of that.
Right.
I'll be bothered by it. It's a physical, mental incapability in me to be in such an environment.
But that's a great incapability to have.
I don't know. I think it has its fair measure of losses too. But I think it depends on who we are. I mean, if you are a person who's predisposed to that, then you will gravitate towards that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But that's my father. So my father and my environment, in a nutshell, is dreams are possible. And I think now looking back, a diploma holder with more intelligence than what is credited with, a person who constantly had to fight authority because they came from a bigger college, knows the importance of dreams.
Yeah.
So his name is Ramaswamy, and wherever I go, I talk on my dad because I think he's my biggest hero.
What a privilege to be his son.
It is a big privilege to have a father you admire.
Yeah.
Much later, I realized that what I used to take for granted, a lot of people don't have.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So talking about all of this, about being an outcast, tell me, why is your production house called Eklavya?
So I think somewhere this feeling of maybe because I venerated my father, this underdog story. I think underdog stories appeal to all of us. And venerating my father, like my grandmother would speak about how this whole caste evil, is meted out and how we should not do all of that. So she was the first person to tell us that the same soul within you is the same soul within him or her or me or an elephant or anything, any plant. So that's the culture that we come from, right?
Right.
But again, we are aware of discrimination in all forms.
Yeah.
So I think this particular thing about Eklavya always struck me. When I read his story in Amar Chitra Katha and all those things, I was like, wow, what a wonderful person. Yeah, his thirst for knowledge, and then him being denied that because he's not from the princely,
Right.
clan or whatever, and then he doesn't stop. He goes and creates an image of Dronacharya, and then he worships that, and he kind of learns by correspondence.
Yeah.
So this, I think that was like a thug life moment for me. Like, wow, what a badass guy. He just says, buzz off to the teacher
Yeah.
and makes an image of the teacher.
Yeah.
And in that image, he finds maybe he learnt it himself,
Yeah.
but he needed something to aspire to, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't let that negativity affect him, right?
Yeah.
And he went on. And of course, my father used to say that in the end, that whole thing about him getting the thumb cut and all that brings you back to the reality of the world.
Yeah.
Like how everything, you have to pay a price for it, but you should not worry about it.
Right.
You should just keep going on.
Yeah.
So often you used to say that I'm Eklavya without my thumb cut,
Yeah.
So I think that Eklavya image. So I remember when I was doing short films in engineering college, I used to do a lot of short films. I used to borrow cameras and make my dad act, my mom act, everybody around me act. Which is why probably I was very comfortable casting newcomers in my
Right.
films.
Right.
And that time, when it came to kind of editing, and then I was thinking about the title. So then you always need to have an Eklavya production or whatever, right? So I was thinking, what name to put there? What is my production house? So then I remember in the shower, I was thinking about it and I was thinking, what is it that I want to be? I said, I think I'd like to be a learner all my life.
Right.
And that time, I had not gone to film school. So all my learning was by whatever little internet, whatever books you can get your hands on.
Right.
So that time, suddenly it struck me Eklavya as a name.
Right.
And so I'd love to be an Eklavya all my life. A learner who's hungry for learning and who doesn't feel a sense of victimhood. He says, okay, this is the order of the world.
Yeah.
You can't stop me from learning.
Right. That's so beautiful. Because you said you learned a lot from books. Tell me, you and I were at Read a Kitab and you got some books for people. Tell me what were those books? You got, I think, 4 titles.
Yeah. I wanted to give for the people who are asking questions.
Yeah.
I suggested to Anurag, the organizer, that why don't we give some of the books that have helped me in my thing, and then write a small note.
Right.
And I think if I remember right, one was Sid Field's screenwriter's workbook, which I think is a wonderful textbook for learning screenwriting.
Right.
It's also a very practical workbook because it doesn't give you theory. It gives you a step-by-step process. So you start with a blank page, and if you've gone through the book correctly, it'll take you a year to finish the book because all exercises. You have to write it, okay? And if you start with a blank page, you'll actually end up with a 90-minute screenplay.
Wow.
So it's like a workbook.
Right.
Right? Every chapter, you will take 1 week, 2 weeks to actually. So that I think was there. Then In the Blink of an Eye is a wonderful book by Walter Murch, who's a Oscar-winning editor and sound designer of Godfather and Apocalypse Now. Big guy. But the beauty of that book is he writes about the psychological aspects and the human aspects of cinema.
Wow.
And his editing, everything is from the human aspect. It's not theory.
Right.
It's just, for example, he asks the question that why do we accept cinema where location changes, a cut happens from a wide shot to a close-up? It should jerk you off, right? Why do we accept this free flow? He says, because we all dream.
Yeah.
So we are already used to cinema.
Right.
And such brilliant insights he gives from there.
Right.
It's about editing also. And I think I also gave one book which is very dear to my heart. It's called, and the title seems like a mistake, but you'll understand. It's called Titanic and the Making of James Cameron. And not the other way around.
Right.
And it's just about how Titanic made James Cameron, right?
Right.
So I always used to believe that some films we make,
Mm.
and some films make us.
Right.
So I really like the title. It's a beautiful book about his passion
Right.
and all his fights and all that. His dreams.
Wow. So coming from his dreams and his success, you were telling me that some people describe you as a hat trick giver now, that you've had 3 successes, and
Thank
that's what
God.
people focus on, and yay for
Thank
that.
God for
But also there are learnings and there are failures, there are experiences that you take away, and from the way you're talking about it, you probably dwell a lot more on that than the successes. So if you could talk maybe for each of the 3 films, something that you learned, something that was difficult that you got over.
Yeah, because success actually gives you more relief, and that's it. You're just relieved you didn't die. You're just like you survived. Like, oh, thank God. I can get to make another film. For me, success is very important. But success is important. The way we define it may be very different from how the other person defines it. For me, success is telling a story that we wanted to tell, telling it in the most soulful way possible. Audience is loving it, and my investors getting their money back.
Right.
This is called success for me.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody more or less being happy during the making of the film. This is also very important for me. Because things always go wrong. But how you deal with it and how you humor about it is very important.
Yeah.
So when that happens, you're just very relieved that your subscription has been revived. You get to make one more film, okay, and you're
Yeah.
not shunted out of the industry. So you're just relieved, and you get to sleep for a month after that peacefully. Other than that, success is disease. It will just go to your head.
Yeah.
You will think it's all about you when it was not.
Yeah.
You will behave like a jerk, and all the symptoms everybody observes around you, but everybody keeps quiet.
Right.
Except the ones who love you or are close to you. And when
Yeah.
they say it, you kick them out.
Yeah.
And then you go into this. We've seen it enough.
Yeah.
But it's a disease. It's a communicable disease. It can happen to all of us. So one has to watch out all the time.
Yeah.
I think the more important things is the journey of every film, right? So, I mean, every film has got its own learnings, and those are exciting for me.
Right.
So I would say in Kalyana Samel Sadam, which was the precursor, the original of Shubmangal Sadam.
Right.
What learnings did I have? I think I could have handled my producer a little better.
What do you mean?
I think Mr. Anand Govindan, the person who actually gave money for the film, I think because I was very young, I did not have too many filters. I would just speak to him without giving him the veneration of a producer. Maybe I could have just been more sweet to him or whatever. But I was just caught up in all of these things, and he would also be equally filterless in talking to me, to put it mildly. So we used to have these, these duels all the time. But what I loved about the gentleman was the money would come on time and his impeccable integrity. And also, after fighting with me on some point, he would just walk off in a huff, or more likely I would walk off in a huff. And he would go and he'd be like, this guy is just getting on my nerves. And then he will go and watch the rushes of Kalyana Samel Sadam, and he'd laugh. And he always loved the movie. So I think that was one learning that I had, that maybe I pissed him off too much and I should not have behaved that way. That learning I took from that movie. And I think I might have behaved in a much better way in Shubh Mangal Savdhan. I hope so. That Anandji only will tell. But it's that first, it's your first movie, and then you're like, I feel that the first time filmmaker should have that. Because then if you become too politically correct and too strategic about your responses, then the film's honesty suffers a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Which I think he was also aware of, and he
Yeah.
let me have my little bit of, and it was all about the film, right? So I think I realized, since I hadn't worked with anybody before, even in corporate or in anything, I had only worked on short films. I had not assisted anybody. So I worked with friends all around. So there was no, like if you shout, if you fight, and then you use makeup.
Yeah.
But that's the first time I realized that I can't be like that with an investor.
Right.
So yeah, that was a good learning. I also learned, I think, when you do something from your heart, and you do it with a good team, with good intention, then everything turns out well in the end.
Right.
You know, all these small fights we have also just goes away because the intent for him also, for me also, was to make a good film.
Right.
So then coming to Shubh Mangal Savdhan, I think the learning I had in Shubh Mangal Savdhan was how to work from an independent setup to kind of like a studio model where your film is one of the many films that's coming out.
Right.
And there are so many more people now involved.
Right.
Like I said, you know, there's the king, but then there is also the king's ministers.
Right.
You know, that was a very, very different thing for me to learn. And slowly, you know, I had to pick up that, like it's almost like a corporate where you have like a VP, then a...
Right.
So then sometimes you kind of learn to communicate certain things, certain ways and all that.
Right.
That was a lesson for me to learn.
Yeah.
And also I think it was interesting for me to kind of work with another writer, to kind of work with a completely different culture. Though I had known some of it because my mom was from Matunga and all those things, but to kind of let go a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that was an important learning for me, to let go. The more you let go, the more you learn, the more you, in a way, and just control those things which need to be controlled, like the soul of the film.
Right. Right.
So that I think I picked up in Shubh Mangal. In Sitaare, I think I learned to be a slightly better human being. I wouldn't say in a very big way, there's a long way to go. But I think maybe the success of Shubh Mangal and Kalyana Samal Sadam, maybe with every film, when I did get that success, my rage and anger and all those things came down. And somewhere I felt welcomed and belonging to this new world.
Right.
So I think in Sitaare, when I came, it was actually a very, very, one of the happiest experiences, you know. Yeah. And working with Amir sir, working with all my lovely cast and crew, and especially our Sitaare, such a healing experience, you know. I think I needed that. We all needed that film in our lives.
Yeah.
We needed the energy of the Sitaare in our lives. And they came to us in the right time.
We'll talk about that very quickly, but in this whole process, you're talking also about the process, not just the product, right?
No.
So,
yeah.
What is your process of crewing up? How do you decide who you're going to work with?
So, I think usually I have this, I spend a lot of time in dreaming up the film in my head. So, oftentimes I'll just be like vaguely sitting, sleeping, like doing some nonsense. Like that Masai Mara, when my wife went, we all went together. She was like, this is what you do all day, like, just lazing around. So you'll find me just like lazing around and just thinking some nonsense. So actually like you're working on the film, you know, like how does the film look, sound? Is this correct? Is that correct? You keep bothering people, telling this. It's a very irritating space to be in for others. For me, it's a lot of fun, you know. So then you're dreaming up all of these things. Then you eventually, when you do come to the stage of crewing up, you have a very clear idea, more or less, as to what kind of craft is required for this film in each department. Okay, so I tend to have a clear idea as to, okay, this is the kind of zone in every department. And then there is an abundance of talent.
Right.
There is no, I mean, India is just bursting with talent. We have such incredible talents in every field, from acting to ADing to DOPing to anything, you know.
Yeah.
So then it's very important then, therefore, to how do you choose, right? And especially today we have so many young people also who are so good.
Yeah.
I tend to go with people who are not experts, who don't have that expert mentality. I don't like to work with divas. I like to work with people who have the child in them alive.
Right.
You know, who are very hungry to learn.
Yeah.
And who don't come from this mentality that it's about me. You know, it is about you in the end, of course. But there has to be, I feel, for a team to come together, there has to be genuinely a cause which is bigger than all of us.
Right.
And a cause we all believe in. And that cause has to be the script and the film.
Right.
Right? So I think if that mentality is there, and there are many people like that. So then you're working with storytellers.
Yeah.
In every department, they're all storytellers. They're not here to say, ki mera ye department hai, this is your department, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I think that just that vibe of the person, and also I do a lot of ref checks. And I'm sure they do about me also. So we get to know that. That's very important.
Yeah.
All those things for me are more important than, acha, this is the best DOP. What is best for you may not be best for me.
Correct.
I think, but centrally, I check few things. Like I spend a lot of time talking. I shortlist a few people, then call them over. We talk. Just generally, we have lunch together. Usme you understand the person a lot.
Yeah.
They get to know you. They
Yeah.
may not like you. They may
Yeah.
be like, I don't want to work this guy.
Yeah.
So you get that. Then when you're serious about it, then you kind of spend more and more time.
Yeah.
But in that, I'm looking for few things like how does this person handle disagreement?
Mm-hmm.
He may disagree with me. He may know. He will disagree with me. I will disagree with him on 1,000 things. How are we handling that?
Yeah.
You know, are we taking it personally or are we having a whale of a time disagreeing with each other? It was very important. And how does a person, how easy it is to say sorry?
Yeah.
How easy it is to say, wow, that idea is better than mine. I'm going for it.
Right.
I think these things
Yeah.
matter a lot for me.
Yeah. Tell me specifically for Sitaare. You said you auditioned about 2,500 people?
Yeah.
And then you had to come to that little bunch that you
Yeah.
did. What were you looking for there?
So I was really helped in this by Tess Joseph in the beginning. And then Anmol's casting bay also came on towards the end. That 1 year, basically, Rhitu, it was just incredible 1 year because the movie cannot happen without me filling these 10 slots.
Right.
Right? So one is very excited and then one is disheartened to see a couple of things. One is you're also like selecting people, but you're rejecting like 99% of them.
Right.
And you're actually seeing intros and we had asked them to perform and all that. And one part of you is feeling so much of pity and so much of empathy for them that bichara ye kar raha hai. And the other part of you is saying, this person cannot be molded to be an actor.
Yeah.
Now that harsh
Yeah.
contrast, so actually I was having a lot of emotional, like what am I doing? Then I had
Yeah.
to constantly remind myself that the cause.
Yeah.
That's why you need to have a cause which
Yeah.
is bigger. No, it's okay. I have a role. I have to be a person who's now looking at it as a director. That is for the good of the whole community.
Right.
But right now I have to select a person who can handle blah, 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 blah. Because if that happens, then all of us benefit. So there was a lot of that. You'd see some people who are also from the lesser privileged backgrounds. Then you see one thing which is shocking, not shocking, but very, very poignant was that the richer kids actually are doing better. So then I was thinking this whole privilege
Yeah.
of money, privilege
Yeah.
of resource. And when I used to meet all of them, most often than not, the guys were more confident, had very strong families.
Of course.
And most of them they were from the upper
Yeah.
class and economics. So
Yeah.
all of these things mattered and that broke my heart.
Yeah.
While I understood that that's how the reality of the world is,
Yeah.
I was like, my God, we have such a long way to go.
Yeah.
At the same time, you meet all these angels and then you're hopeful
Yeah.
that, okay, this movie will hopefully help all of us to go one step further too, right? So what I was looking for was just that, like what I was in a small age, like that kida for acting. I wanted to see that Josh. I wanted to see people who are coming alive in the camera. It didn't matter, nothing else mattered. Their personality, their vibe, they should love being on camera.
Right.
And then I was looking for, of course, the personality mapping. So constantly I'd be like, okay, she's good for Golu and what we could do, what we can turn around, what we
Right.
can use. So I think I saw, for example, Vedant who played Bantu, who keeps doing this. He constantly used to touch his ear. So we made him keep doing this. And Rishi, which was Sharma ji, he would just say whatever the hell he wants, confidently.
My name is Yusuf Sahani. Yeah, coach. Kada hai.
So I was like, yeah, this is the best guy for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is very confident that you can understand what I'm saying. And it's my fault that I can't understand. So these again thug life, So each and every person I saw, like Rishabh I saw, he's never acted before. He was just performing Battamiz Dil in a home party and that they sent that video.
Yeah.
But in him I saw this performer. I saw this guy who loved attention.
Right.
So I think I was looking for that spark.
Yeah.
And some of it, of course, when you have a wonderful casting director like Tess and Anmol and his team, and they also very excitedly will send you, sir, I think this person has got that spark. And then, it'll be like, wow, I think we found this person.
Yeah.
And then I think we actually made a shortlist of about 20, 30 of them. And then I devised this audition stage very differently because I came from theatre. So we had a 5-day audition process, which was not plonking the camera in front of you and telling you to act. We gave them theatre exercises, clowning and acting exercises around, and I would just walk around looking at them. And we'd have 3 cameras shooting them. We did improv sessions where it just put 2 people on stage and say, this is you, you want to break up with her and you want to not break up. This is a simple thing. Now they'll start talking, they'll record that. So we actually, by the 3rd day, we knew who was who.
Right.
And in the evenings, we would just have a formal, we gave them a monologue, which Divya, my writer, specially wrote for them, like a 2-minute, 3-minute monologue. I want to give them a tough one. And see how many of them are able to improve over the 3 days.
Right.
So first 2 days, we did only these fun sessions. And I would sit with their parents exclusively. We had Neena Vaidya, a consultant, who would also observe, help us set up systems and all that. So I think it was same monologue we'd ask them to give. First, we'll only keep an iPhone camera in front of you. Next day, we'll put few lights. Third day, we'll give you a full audition. And I won't even be there. It'll be very formal. So just to see
How they're reacting.
But it is a very belief and enabling process rather than a testing process.
How amazing. Now tell me, this was the Sitaare. What about the people who were to work with the Sitaare? How did you choose them? Besides the bits that you've already said, your crewing up process already has those filters. But in addition, because they had to work with Sitaare, what else were you looking for?
So you know what the final test was? I would meet all of these wonderful guys and all my team members. Like I would say my DOP Srini, Nikhil Apura who did the PD, Sachin who did costume. Everybody, my direction team, they're all lovely human beings, right? You get a sense of that.
Yeah.
Also the way they speak about the script, very passionately, speaking about the right things.
Yeah.
So I think that gives you a sense that, okay, these guys are, having their heart in the right place. And they are people who are wanting to do meaningful stuff. They have empathy.
Right.
Typically, they'd have some family member who's a special kid or so. But some of them may not have anything like that. They just are very, very wanting to do this kind of a film. Then during this audition process and all, I used to call, I think this is after that. So we started our workshops with the selected. In that workshop, to introduce them, I used to keep calling these guys. Before selecting them, I'd call them 2-3 days to spend time with them. I'll see if they're coming, how much time they're spending with them.
Right.
So finally, they were selected by the Sitaare. That was the secret. I would see how comfortable my Sitaare is with all of them. So I would say, suppose I've fixed you as my DOP and I'm very sure, then I would invite you. I'll say, hey, you know what, Srini, tomorrow, why don't you come over? So it won't be like a test.
Right.
Then I would see that bond come alive.
Right.
And they'll be like not leaving. And they'll be hugging them, this thing. Then I'll be like, okay, this family is good. So it was like setting up dates in a way, platonic dates. But it's important, right?
Yeah.
It's that love, it's that bonding.
Yeah.
So I remember Srini and all used to get very emotional hearing the story, and he's a very emotional guy. So all these guys are very emotional and very. I'm telling you, this movie has attracted all people who needed therapy, who needed love, who needed healing, and Sitaare gave us that.
That's so incredible. It was seriously, when I was watching the movie, it was such a simple story, but so amazing. And the fact that you actually chose neurodivergent talent and treated them the way you did, I think it really showed. And
Thank you.
Golu is my favorite. I think.
Yeah.
What attitude!
She told me in my audition, she said, "ये सब छोड़ो, award show कब जा रहे हैं? Kapil Sharma का show कब जा रहे हैं?" Amazing guys. And this guy, Sharma ji, when I met him, was offering his parents, all of them used to come with family, right? I used to just enjoy talking to him. And so I'd be like, uncle, would you like to have coffee, tea, whatever. Then, ma'am, what would you like to have? Coffee, tea. I go to him and say, so, Rishi, what would you like to have? Coffee, tea? And he would say, whiskey. Then I'm like, audition mat kar bhai, time waste hai. Mil gaya. He's just amazing. Just amazing. All of them.
Yeah. Tell me, how did you know that the movie will work? Because it's not your traditional run-of-the-mill movie. What made you believe that Indian audiences will come out and support this?
See, you always get a sense of See, the max you can say is I love this movie. And the calculation can go to the extent of the fact that I am a mainstream movie lover. I am not a one who loves very arty films and all that. I love mainstream films. It doesn't bore me. I am laughing, I am crying.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will happen
Yeah.
to the rest. But the calculation goes to the extent that it needs it needs a certain mounting for it to work. That is why for me, Mr. Amir was very important.
Right.
That both as an actor and as a producer and also as a superstar. When Amir Khan does a movie,
Yeah.
there is automatically a signal
Yeah.
that this movie is of a certain type.
Right.
It's going to be entertaining, it's going to be a family film, but it's going to tell you something very different, right?
Right.
And I feel Amir sir has now cultivated a huge following of people who are actually quality storytelling lovers. At the same time, who are people from across religions, across segments,
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
adults. It's just phenomenal, the kind of. So I wanted that, if Amir Khan acts in this movie, and it is an Amir movie, like the absolute template of an Amir movie, everything is got, If Amir sir says yes, then my battle is won. I don't need to worry about anything because it's a perfect match of form and content. That takes care of all the signaling. Then I can just focus on making a good film, an honest
Right.
film.
Right.
So to that extent, the calculation is there. But also, as a mainstream filmmaker, that every 5 minutes there's a fun scene happening. You have those understanding of basics of
Yeah.
like how you how you create a show, how you assemble a entertainment package. Ki there should be a fun, there should be emotion. It ticks all the boxes, right?
Right.
But above and beyond all, I feel Indian cinema audiences have always been underrated. We don't give them enough love because they give us a lot of love. So whenever you've brought an honest movie with the correct packaging, with entertainment and a happy movie, but with a different kind of a subject, people have supported it.
Right.
We are one of the most supportive audiences, right?
Yeah.
Dangal, Lagan, Sitaare Zameen Par. Just take Amir sir's films,
Yeah.
Kamal sir's films, Bharat sir, all of these guys are maverick.
Yeah.
Like a movie like Koshish came from India. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have
Yeah.
Pushpak,
Yeah.
Pesum Padam for us,
Yeah.
Pushpak, came from India.
Yeah.
So I think every time an entertaining movie done at the correct budget, done at the, with the correct entertainment, our audiences were accepted. Also, I felt that I stay away from the industry a lot. I just move with, people who are just in various walks of life. Then you get to see the change happening around you. So many NGOs coming up, so many neurodivergent support groups. Generally, it's in the air, So
Yeah.
you have the confidence that
Yeah.
this can happen. The one thing I was very scared about, and where I was leaning on AK sir, was that, sir, all of this is fine, but I need to find actors who are 10 actors, and then I need 80 more actors. So that process, I need a lot of time. I need,
Yeah.
I need that support and all that. And that's why I want you to, be as a producer. You understand that pain and you understand how
Yeah.
to do it well.
Yeah.
So I really hope you do this movie. Thankfully he did.
Yeah. Yeah. This was about the good part of our culture. Now, we were also discussing how certain things are going south, right? So, if you think about cancel culture, if you think about how certain words like trauma or OCD or depression are thrown around, what do you think that is doing for us as a society?
See, I think we live in a very large world, right? Today, because of social media, every video is being viewed potentially by everybody. So the context is missing in a lot of things. Like previously, if you and I spoke about something to a crowd of 10 people, 100 people, it remains within there. We
Yeah.
know the context. Now, something we say here, the clip can go to Antarctica for all you know, and then somebody is watching that and saying that's the wrong word you used.
Yeah.
So that structure of the world we live in today is very
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Because context is missing. And the human brain cannot be absorbing so much of diverse opinions. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
Which is why diversity for diversity's sake is not it's theoretically it's very difficult to maintain. The notion of of openness is very interesting. But now we don't have openness. We have like completely some other thing. Like anything can be open to discussion 10 years later.
Yeah.
It's just too much of that, But
Yeah.
that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
And therefore, a lot of people are very, very careful, very guarded. That is a big loss in art. And also I think there's a lot of virtue signaling, a lot of, like you had moral policing, you have word policing. This is a wrong word to say. While that is true, but I think then that's why for me Sitaare Zameen Par is important, because it gives you a messaging, but not with a heavy-handed, like you guys are wrong and let me
Yeah.
teach you.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody comes to me with that attitude, I'll say, buzz off. I have enough problems in my life. Why
Yeah.
should I care about
Yeah.
the problems of this person? I have so many problems. But if I come to you with entertainment, I come to you with a good story which you want, and in that I kind of base and I tap into your universality which is within you, which is within me, then it works. So I think that is important. Like that's why I like Kartar Paji's character in Sitaare.
Yeah.
He's not a intellectual police.
Right.
He's just a warm, inclusive guy.
Yeah.
In his inclusivity includes the arrogance and the stupidity of Gulshan of the first half.
Right.
He includes him also
Right.
in his love.
Right.
And we have often met people like that around
Yeah.
us. You
Yeah.
meet these, especially people who work in NGOs as teachers. Some of these people we look up to, who may not be famous,
Yeah.
but they include you. They don't judge you.
Yeah.
They teach you. They inspire you. They take you along.
Yeah.
They'll say, it's okay. Just come and spend one day with my kids. Paint. Bring your paint and paint. I know you may be a little skeptical, but within 2-3 meetings, you go to an orphanage and you work and suddenly you're bonded and you're
Yeah.
crying and you're...
Yeah.
So they've seen that.
Yeah.
So he's not seeing Gulshan as a wrong guy.
Correct.
He's like, boss, you will get there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be patient with you. You are the student.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah.
So for me, Kartar Paji's way of being a change maker is my way of doing things. Do
Yeah.
it with love and be truly inclusive. Don't be exclusive in your need to be inclusive, right? So
Yeah.
I think word policing is a wrong way to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Also, this thing about using these words so loosely. Mental health is such a serious a problem. I have clinical depression, and I mean, I've been speaking to a whole bunch of people. I had an episode with a counselor, and she was talking about how these words are thrown around so loosely. Or you see something on Instagram, and then you use these words like codependence and OCD or depression or trauma. What do you think that does when you're using these words so loosely, and what kind of impact does it? You already mentioned that with Sitaare, you saw that the more privileged ones are the ones who are getting ahead versus the ones who are underserved, who are probably from the lower echelons of society. Those are the ones who are struggling. With mental health, I feel like it's similar, that there's understanding at the upper segments, not so much at the lower segments. And when we use these words so loosely, we actually do great disservice. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree, Rhitu. See, I think these words are all new to us.
Yeah.
These concepts are all new to us. And I think as all new things, there will be use and abuse.
Yeah.
Everything new will be used and it will be abused.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you that somebody was saying that if you're just cleaning this cup a little more, or you're just being very conscious about keeping things clean, and then you're saying, I have an OCD. Don't say it that way, because OCD is actual condition and blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
then that's how you educate people. But sometimes I feel it's okay. I mean, like, you abuse the word and then learn how to use it.
Yeah.
That's also a way of thinking. A Kartar Paji would think like that. Chalo,
Exactly.
beta, I'll teach you now how it is. Now you learn and you...
Yeah.
See, eventually education and awareness is what we want.
Right.
But it becomes particularly important, difficult also in... see, self-diagnosis is always a problem of medical field, right? I can pop a crocin whenever I want. I
Yeah.
feel mujhe thoda... So then you have a thermometer, then you say don't prescribe. So same way, but when it comes to mental health, it becomes very difficult.
Yeah.
See, my child saw Inside Out 2, got introduced to this concept of anxiety. So yesterday he was asking me, Appa, am I having anxiety when I do this? So now, to the extent that am I having a panic attack? To the extent that I can, say as a parent, I tell him that, see, anxiety and feeling anxious is something we all will go through.
Correct.
when it becomes debilitating, when it goes beyond your control, it
Yeah.
becomes whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it is very important to feel anxious, to feel scared, to feel it's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Just that, is it called for and blah, blah, blah to the extent that I can. But now that movie opens up a nice discussion for us to have about it.
Absolutely.
So then if you spend time, you bring some expert, maybe I'll talk to somebody like you or who's a psychologist, whatever. Then we have a healthy discussion.
Right.
We create a nice adda out of it. Then we also learn.
Right.
All of us have to learn.
Right.
I think that's a good way.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you that a lot of self-diagnosis is happening.
Yeah.
So this whole thing about clinical depression, therefore being like people, like even I used to say before, I was very depressed when I didn't get the ticket for this movie. I was very depressed when I couldn't get popcorn. So now I've started saying I felt very low, I felt very sad.
Right. Yeah.
But this is an education that we should do.
Yeah.
And also it's very difficult, Rhitu, because see, eventually, what is clinical depression? We can feel low about a lot of things in life, So when it comes to mental health, it requires a very nuanced handling.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
sometimes I remember talking to someone who's running a mental health organization. They just asked, will you reach at some point a wall and would you be knocking on the doors of spirituality? Can mental health discussion happen without a discussion on spirituality? I don't know. I said, I don't know about clinical depression, but if you're talking about mental health generally, there is a lot of question that I have about who am I, what is my place in the world, where is this void? Existential crisis is also a
Yeah.
mental health crisis
Yeah.
we're having.
Yeah.
So then should we not speak spirituality? Can you have a purely, in that sense, a non-spiritual approach to mental health, or is it a mix of both that is important? Sometimes I've been an atheist for a long time, and then I've also been a person who prays to God when I'm hit with turbulence
Like
in
all
life
of us.
and otherwise, all of us.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I feel, Rhitu, that I don't know the power of, I've never seen God or like any of us, I don't know about that. But I have seen faith.
Yeah.
I have seen faith.
Yeah.
And I've felt faith. So sometimes, at a very simple level, when you're having so much of anxiety, you just pray to God, or you look at your mom's face, whatever gets you good,
Yeah.
or you look at your dog, whatever is your
Yeah.
faith-giving
Yeah.
entity,
Yeah.
and then just your mother saying, or your wife saying, or your friend saying, it'll be all right, Dad.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Macha will do it.
Yeah.
That Macha will do it is faith.
Yeah.
How does he know that he'll do it?
100%.
He himself is a loser like me. He also has no money. He and I are sitting having one cup of chai and saying, dude, we'll do it, man.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're having this dopamine hit. So I feel that faith is very important.
Yeah.
And faith is definitely something that I feel can move mountains.
Yeah.
So that, I have seen.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's so interesting that you're bringing this bit out about spirituality, because obviously I'm no expert, but when I have spoken to psychiatrists, when I'm reading, there is, I think, a big component of spirituality, faith, belonging, finding support. So I think you've hit the nail on the head, that there is, if you can believe that there is a higher power, there's something bigger than you, then it gives you the faith to hold on. Yeah,
It's very important, and it might very well be a construct, but it's a very useful construct.
It is I always say that I believe in a higher power because it's convenient for me, because it makes me feel less scared. So and I'm completely unapologetic about it.
Absolutely. And so many times you meet horrible people,
Yeah.
and you feel you lost faith in humanity.
Yeah.
Then you just go and you find your space and says, you know what, there must be some reason for all this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody above will take care of this shit. I
Yeah.
can't handle it.
Yeah.
Even to that extent, it's very useful. See, when you're making a movie for 5 years,
Yeah.
you need a lot of that.
Absolutely.
So many times I've gone to my God and said, you brought me here. You handle this now. I didn't come here.
Yeah.
You brought me here.
Yeah.
But I think if you do that in success and failure, then you truly believe it.
That's true.
Even when success comes, I didn't do anything.
Correct.
I've done my bit.
Correct. Absolutely.
Then I think then you kind of are sorted. So many times I've said, that in my prayers that you brought me here.
Yeah.
You have a reason and you have a solution.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I'm really done.
Yeah.
But okay, I need to sleep right now.
Yeah.
And then you'll figure out a way. And sometimes it happens,
Yeah.
But then you see it in small ways, right? Like
Yeah.
a teacher believing in you.
Yeah.
Suddenly, miraculously, you change.
Yeah.
And we believing in. Sometimes Sitaare are struggling with something they've done so well in rehearsal, and then sometimes I feel like 10th take ho gaya. Time is running out. We've got one good take, but I'm waiting for that magic which I know that he can do or she can do, and I am not yet happy because I know they can do better.
Yeah.
There is that magic which I've seen which is missing.
Yeah.
And I've seen them for 3 years.
Yeah.
2 years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So sometimes you go there and you say, you know what, you take a break, and then there's the production. I mean, my first study is like, sir, we got it. Should we? I said, no. You make them dance, whatever you do. But importantly, you have the faith that this next shot is going to happen. How do you know that? You don't know it.
Yeah.
And then, trust me, so many times it's happened
Yeah.
that they blow your brains out.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens. Scientifically, it could just be that they needed my love at that moment and saying,
Yeah.
you know what, you could do one better. You did something happens, and
Yeah.
then suddenly you see them sparkling, and that's the take we use.
Yeah.
So I think I'm very fascinated by just that faith
Yeah.
in each other. And sometimes you say you can do it. I believe you can do it.
Yeah.
Our best teachers were like that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you see people all around you in organizations and everywhere breaking people's faith. And then wondering why the work turns out badly.
Yeah.
You've broken that dude, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen people give feedback to writers, and I say, in so-called creative teams, so you're not a creative team, you're a destructive team.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is not correct, that is not correct. You kill that guy's spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it won't come. It's not you can't Swiggy in a great script.
Yeah.
You can't like check box, paneer, cucumber,
Yeah.
this one. It's not a Subway
Yeah.
which you can just tick. You
Yeah.
need to work with a person.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
a most insecure person is a creator who is actually creating.
Correct. Yeah. You're being so vulnerable. when
Very
you're trying
vulnerable.
yeah. So you are also an engineer, and we were having these conversations, and this Swiggying it, and all of this is bringing me to this conversation where you said that we should probably come up with a new framework because the world is so obsessed with measurable entities and jargons that when people are working in an environment which is psychologically highly unsafe, it's putting them through a lot of pressure, like you were saying, very high cortisol for so long. What were you saying? Talk a little bit about that system that
Yeah.
we should probably devise.
Yeah, because Rhitu, I think we all chase numbers, right?
Yeah.
So then I figured that, we're chasing money because money is a number.
Yeah.
So why don't we enumerate, why don't we put a number to things that really matter?
Yeah.
Usually money matters only when you don't have it.
Yeah.
So you always aspire for things you don't have.
Correct.
Now, once you have a sustainable thing, then money alone doesn't matter, right? There's so many other things. So then, till you're getting that money, then that itself becomes a purpose, and then you're happy when you get it, blah, blah, blah. So my thing was that I just devised this just thing that I called it PHI, P-H-I. Personal Happiness Index, inspired by the Bhutan's global, what's that? Gross domestic happiness
Correct.
index, right?
Yeah.
So I said, if you have to decide between 3-4 options, you kind of put down the things like, let's say 3-4 job options, right? To understand. So option A gives you this much money, blah, blah, blah. All the parameters that you have, just put them down, right? But is this far from my home? Toxic work, atmosphere, too long, whatever it is that, you just put it down for all the options, right? So you
Yeah.
have 4 options. Hopefully in this economy you will have at least one. But I'm saying if you have 4, you put them down, you put a mark 1 to 10 for each of them, right? So that's your objective analysis of the pros and cons in each place.
Right.
Now you have a scale which tells you the weighted average of these things.
Right.
For me, distance from work is 70% important. Money is 10% important. Something. For you, it may be that I don't care, I can work, I can travel. But for me, money is very important right now for the next 1 or 2 years because of my family commitment, whatever. So in your weighted
Yeah.
scale,
Yeah.
you measure these 4.
Right.
So eventually, you will come to a score, right, which is more objective
Yeah.
and more comprehensive,
Yeah.
Right.
And fit to you.
fit to you.
Yeah.
So you may actually end up taking the job which pays you less,
Yeah.
but has less work hours, closer home because you want to spend time with your child.
Yeah.
Your personal happiness index of that decision will be 100 on 100.
Yeah.
Will give you a score of 100.
Yeah.
Whereas, lots of money, toxic work atmosphere, blah, 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 with too many working hours, would have given you a personal happiness index of 5 out of 100. So, how is that better than this?
Correct.
So, start putting numbers
Yeah.
where they matter.
Yeah.
Otherwise, our brain doesn't comprehend.
Yeah.
So, I think that's the engineer in me. I think I should speak about this a lot more. It'll help
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, absolutely. You were also talking about something that Ram Sampath mentioned to you, which is that people go after fame, and this could be in the corporate world, you want to become a CEO, or in the movies, you want to do whatever, hundreds of successful movies. That people go for fame because they're trying to fill up a void.
Yeah. He said that at Read a Kitab, and it was so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think he's trying to say? What is this running behind things for?
I think the learned sage guru Ram Sampath, when he gave these words of wisdom, I was mind blown, man.
Yeah.
I think that this theory of some sort of a psychological void or psychological need that you're trying to overcompensate for has been studied, and I agree because there must be something, and I'm saying this with a lot of love. There must be something anomalous about you that makes you want to conquer a lot of things.
Yeah.
At a sustained level.
Yeah.
See, we all want to go on stage, laugh, this thing, and who doesn't want to be feted by everybody? Once, twice, but to make a career out of it.
Yeah.
And to be, in a way, to use, for want of a better word, just be ruthless or selfish about it. Not bother that you're hurting people unintentionally also. I've done it.
Yeah.
So, then there must be something that you're chasing.
Correct.
Which is not there.
Yeah.
Which maybe it could be simple thing like the love of one person is not enough for me.
Yeah.
The love of 4 people. I need the love of 1 billion people.
Yeah.
Could be that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's very interesting to see that as a thing. Then I read somewhere that this business systems and especially with social media today, the politicians and business tech bros and all that, right, who are becoming popular.
Yeah.
So are we incentivizing people who are actually especially with tech bros, the AI guys and all those people who say the more extreme things. They get more likes, they get more discussion. You may disagree with them, but simply because they are getting huge reactions, we think they're popular.
Correct.
So if you see world over, that popularity is being measured just by engagement.
Correct. Whether
Not
it's
by
positive
the
or
quality
negative.
of engagement,
Exactly.
or it might be that you hate that person, but you're watching it.
Correct.
Then they become more famous.
Yeah.
So I think there is a certain interesting thing. Like for example, I can say certainly that if I had gotten successful with my childhood crush, I may not be writing romance and wanting to direct romance. Something in that which I think all of us go through and all of us should go through. Maybe kids will go through very soon, my kids. That feeling that first childhood crush.
Yeah.
And then that realization perhaps that person didn't even know you existed,
Yeah.
And it's very important to go through that. And when I went through that, I was heartbroken, of course. But then every time I feel, even today, that maybe if I had got success in that, it might have just turned out to be,
Yeah.
But because I didn't get it,
Yeah.
I have now made it like one void that I want to fill. So whenever I write romance, I tap into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really moves me.
Yeah.
So I think there is something to that,
Yeah.
you know.
I want to make 2 comments to 2 things that you said. One is this unrequited love that you're
Yeah.
talking about that made you feel something that you tap into, probably gives you access to better ideas, for the
Yeah.
lack of a better word. So there's this TED talk that I shared with you earlier today also. This person called Andrew Solomon. He is a gay gentleman in the US, probably growing up in 60s or 70s. He's a lecturer at Yale and Columbia. And he talks about growing up in US when this was not something you could be comfortable with, and how much bullying he had to deal with. And his whole talk is about forging meaning in pain. And he says not finding meaning, but forging meaning.
Nice.
You struggle, there's pain, you don't know why that's happening, but it makes you a better person. And then he says that on his 50th birthday, his 4-year-old son wanted to give him a speech. And he ended up saying, "Dad, if you were little, I would have wanted to be a friend."
How
And
sweet.
and he says that because he's saying that I have faced this bullying and therefore I understand empathy much better.
Yeah.
And that's why my son is saying this.
Yeah.
So,
It gives you an anchor.
yeah, 100%. So, I just
No,
had, sorry, go on.
sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. In fact, it also makes choosing easier. See, for example, at a very practical level, when you're working with 10 story ideas,
Yeah.
you're bubbling with so many ideas, or you're being offered a few, whatever. How do you make a choice?
Yeah.
If three good scripts are there, but your heart, if you're the sort, people make choices in different ways. But again,
Right.
going back to my personal happiness index, I am very, very, for me, in my personal happiness index, more than money and all that, is my journey going to be happy making the film? That's very important. So who am I working with? Very important. Secondly, is the script fabulous? That's very important. And thirdly, of course, is it going to entertain a certain sort of people? Blah blah blah. But I think finally, do I have a personal hook?
Yeah.
Is there something that makes my heart, you know, bleed,
Yeah.
or it makes me happy?
Yeah.
So all the movies I have done are very personal to me, even though
Yeah.
they're mainstream.
Yeah.
Inside it, there are things which are very, very deeply personal to me,
Yeah.
and that sustains.
Yeah.
That wetness is important to sustain 5 years, 3 years, 2 years.
100%. And I think that's what is true for me with the podcast. I'm somebody with a corporate background. I have nothing in all of this. But this, what we are having right now, is what floats my boat. And I'm hoping that will continue to do this till
It
I'm
will,
alive.
it will.
Yeah, so coming back to finding meaning in pain, I was having this conversation with Yashodhara Lal. She's also somebody who's moved from corporate and now is a couples therapist. And she was talking about how marriage is not something that is supposed to be smooth. It's not supposed to be smooth. It's when you do disagreements, like you were saying,
Yeah.
how you deal with the disagreements, how do you come back and do you allow each other to grow from those disagreements? That is what defines the marriage. It's not that, oh, you are two clones married to each other and you are aligning on everything. That's not what it is. So it is saying that this path is painful, it is a lot of work, but it makes you feel content. So that's that.
Interesting.
And the other bit that you were, talking about fame and void, Ram Sampath's piece. I was listening to another podcast, Diary of a CEO. He was interviewing a Buddhist monk. Someone in the UK. His name is Gelong Tubten. He was an actor, this person. His mum was in the movies. He was in the movies. And imagine after being that, he left all of that and he became a Buddhist. And he's talking about how as a kid, he felt such immense void, which is what he was trying to fill in by going to these movies and chasing the lights and chasing the fame. But he could see that it was not filling him up. And he was at an absolute state of distress when one friend of his took him to this monastery, and that's where he found his calling. So it's so interesting that as humans, we find it so difficult to figure out what is it that fills us up. We sometimes, I don't know, let society tell us,
That's the most dangerous.
or let our previous hurts, we don't work with our previous hurts to figure out what is our previous hurt, and therefore we just have our own life scripts and we just let our life scripts lead us, and we lose time. So it's such a travesty, really, of the
Yeah.
human condition. But moving to happier things, tell
But,
me.
just
Yeah.
adding, also, I think most people don't have the privilege of anything other than just surviving. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Just surviving at a physical level.
That's true.
I read somewhere that if you earn some 2 lakhs a month or something, you're in top 1% of something. It's like,
Yeah,
or even lesser than that. So it's like
yeah,
just physically surviving
that's so
is a
true.
whole privilege. So
That's
they don't
so
have
true.
time to think about these things and all that, mental
Yeah,
health.
yeah,
They're like, I have to survive, boss.
Correct.
So that is one.
correct.
Other thing I'll tell you one interesting, talking about the inner void, no? So I met, I come from the Chinmaya schools, and one very interesting thought, I made the biopic on Swami Chinmayananda also. And one of the interesting thoughts there is, they have this, they taught us this concept of a vasana. Okay. I don't know what is the correct English translation of that word, but it's very interesting. The nearest you can come to is kind of like a restlessness or a calling,
Right.
kind of like that. But it is like all of us are born with a certain restlessness, very deep core restless energy towards certain things. So until you kind of exhaust that, you will always be unhappy.
Yeah.
So that is not to mean filmmaker,
Yeah.
sports. It is a more deep and a more kind of defining paradigm of who you are.
Yeah.
What is your restlessness? For example, in my case, it could be that I love the attention of an audience. I come alive on stage. Means there must be something within me which is possibly wanting to be the center of attention. Which is not a bad thing in by itself, but once you are aware of it,
Yeah.
then you will know, okay, this is what I'm given.
Right.
It's good in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
It's very bad in most circumstances. So shut the hell up
Yeah.
and withdraw.
Yeah.
It's very important to know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is also important to know that therefore, if you put this guy into a place where your voice is not heard, you're going to be miserable all your life.
Yeah.
So I think that the concept of vasana is also interesting.
Yeah.
In a way, this void or the searching for things is also similar.
Yeah.
All of us are born with a certain, like my wife comes alive when she travels, when she does art, when she writes poetry. So certainly we all know when we come alive.
Correct. Correct. And we need to make space to figure that out.
Yes. And help others find that in whatever place,
Right.
whatever way possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I guess coming to a close, what are your happy projects? What are your happy places? What are you excited about in the future?
Well, I think films, of course. I mean, just right now I'm developing some interesting stories which I want to tell. I want to tell the story of Srinivasa Ramanujam, the mathematician, at a global stage
Yeah.
as a global film, otherwise known as Hollywood film. But I think today Hollywood is also realizing that it's more global.
Yeah.
So I think having wonderful conversations with some lovely people there who are very keen on partnering with me in getting this to happen. That is one thing is there. Then I have like a couple of mainstream Hindi films which I'm developing, a Tamil project which I've been wanting to do for a long time. So that is there in the. I'm also turning producer
Oh.
with all of these. So I think that's exciting, and that's on work front. Apart from that, I've always wanted to, work with writers, meet new writers. So we were discussing the
Yeah.
concept of just having an adda where possibly we can interact with new writers,
Yeah.
storytellers, poetry, stand-up comics, whatever, and just have
Yeah.
fun. And one very important project of mine, Rhitu, is I want to find a correct partner for this, where I want to start a film school, but for children,
Yeah.
and which is completely a decentralized model, where it will be a hybrid between largely online and some contact classes.
Right.
But the idea is that from the age of, let's say, 8 to 15 or
Right.
16 or whatever,
Right.
when actually their peak creativity and imagination is
Right.
bottled up and crushed, I want
Right.
to open that up.
How
And
lovely.
not go to them when they're like 25-year-old,
Yeah.
cynical, wanting to earn money, having to earn money. Then you lose a 90% of the talented people to the society's structures, which is
Right.
important.
Right.
So I'm saying, why can't we just create? So basically, the idea is that it will be available as an online course for every child everywhere in the world, and priced very reasonably.
Yeah.
And possibly we'll give a lot of scholarships also.
Right.
And there will be also like a community where these movies will be screened.
Wow.
And possibly, if we create an IP universe out of this, the children will also get a share of their royalties when they
Right.
grow up or whatever,
Right. Right.
Imagine an 8-year-old kid getting royalty for an idea because someone like Rajamouli sir finds that idea exciting and says, I want to
Yeah.
get this story
Yeah.
written by who? So he's an 8-year-old. What? 8-year-old wrote this?
Yeah.
No wonder, because 8-year-old and 10-yeard-olds are more creative than all of us put together,
Yeah.
right?
And like you said, they don't have the shackles.
They don't have the shackles. So this is the journey. Idea is to also then therefore work with children and give them, I think today what a lot of them are lacking is actually teamwork,
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
sharing,
Yeah.
learning together, bonding,
Yeah.
all of these things which is going to be huge issues. So to kind of empower all that, but again in an entertaining way of
Right.
filmmaking.
Right.
And then you express yourself and you tell your stories your way.
Yeah.
It's been a dream for me, and I want to start actively working on it sometime.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Godspeed. I really hope that this comes true because, of course, there's filmmaking, but like you're saying, if it reaches the kids that feel alive when this comes, I think it gives them a sense of purpose, and
Correct.
what better thing to do than
Yeah,
that?
and also it's not even to make filmmakers. Like 1% of them may become film, but it'll make you a better. It'll make you a happy person.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll become a better communicator. But those are all the, the real world takeaways. But I think you're going to be happy.
Yeah.
You're going to be making friends. You also, it's very important to learn. A lot of kids don't play together anymore.
Yeah. That's
So
so
how will
true.
you? Whereas in a movie, you have to learn. You have to communicate, to
Yeah.
work together in groups, to
Yeah.
fail,
Yeah.
to succeed together,
To become friends.
to become friends. Very important in life.
Yeah.
So I think mental health you tackle there
Yeah.
at a very young age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's so it will create more Ekalavyas who are not, their thumbs are not cut off, and Ekalavyas who are not left out of the system.
What a beautiful dream. It's really such a beautiful, lovely dream, and I hope you get to start this ASAP. I myself, I was talking to one of these people I want to interview, and she was so curious about what I was doing. And she was asking me, what's your dream with this? And as I was speaking, I was coming up with this that I want to probably build a community where thoughtful people just come and have adda, like you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it would be so nice to talk about the slower things in life, not about what your designation is, how much do you earn, how big is your flat, where do you stay, but what makes you happy.
Yeah.
So on that note, thanks so much for this. Absolutely loved having you. Absolutely loved listening to your stories, and I think I've made a new friend.
Yes, same here. Thank you, Ritu.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed conversing with you, and I don't know how much of this makes sense to people hearing, but I think it's important to have conversations and to share each other's deeper thoughts.
Yeah,
I think we should normalize deep conversations.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely having you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in. I look forward to your comments and feedback. Before you go, can I ask for a favor? If you like the show, would you consider subscribing? It's an easy way to support us, and we promise to keep doing what we're doing and try and do even better. Thank you.